Guys, welcome back to a YouTube video that I made. Not really welcome back if you've never been here. I literally only have, I think, 72 subscribers. Not that deep, not that popular, but right now it's just a Procreate tutorial, I guess, how I particularly like to draw in the program, all the steps, all the things I'm going through. I'm not really great at explaining how I draw, but I use only, I would say, 3 brushes in total, just to do basic painting, and which is the sketch, and then the paint, and then the eraser, and then some extra other stuff if I feel like adding it. And I was basically just talking about, this is the second time I'm recording this part too. I was talking about how, there's this one eye between, instead of a pair of eyes, the space between the eyes is an eye. And usually you can make it a little bit more wider than that to kind of give it that I'm a person face. But when you make it the gap between the eyes smaller, it gives it more of a cartoony vibe to it, I would say. With colors, the more realistic you want to go, it's good with, drawing digitally. You could just take the colors straight from the reference picture. So good. Some of the brushes that I use, not all the time, but in this particular video, it's from this artist on Instagram. I'm not even going to pretend to know how to pronounce their username, so I'm just going to display them right here and then have their link in the description for you to check them out. They get some really good art on their stuff, and they have some cool brushes, great for beginners and all that type of stuff. And I guess what I was explaining in this part particularly here was, don't draw a line for the mouth. Draw a mouth. Good job, Angelique. Great job explaining that. What I should have said is that you should know how a mouth is a mouth. It has a top lip, got a bottom lip, got teeth inside. That's what it makes a mouth. You have to compare what you're drawing to reality and how close and how accurate it is to it. Not all the time. If it's more stylistically, you can change certain features to whatever you want, exaggerate them. I guess that's the only way you could say it, caricatures, all that nonsense. With drawing the face, the forehead and nose and chin and ear are around the same size. They tend to differ in size when the character is older or younger. These features tend to be smaller or bigger based on age, because the nose and ear and forehead tend to get bigger as you get older, and a reduced hairline, big old man ears. That's what we got going on. So, if you got big old ears when you're at this age, you're gonna fly away like Dumbo when you get older. Also, I can't stress on how important references are in general. If you don't know how to draw something, use a reference. I can't stress it enough, because if you're I can't draw it, I don't use a reference. Keep trying to learn how to draw it, because if you don't know how to draw something, it's probably because you need to look at it and really practice. Right here, I use a more muscular girl to draw, which is out of my comfort zone, but it's good to draw things out of your comfort zone, good to do things that are different. If you stick to the same thing over and over, you're not going to really improve as an artist. You're going to get really frustrated with yourself because you're drawing the same thing the wrong way every time. And I'm not saying that, everyone who's watching this video doesn't know how to draw. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying people who say, I don't know how to draw this, is because they're probably, practicing the wrong techniques because they don't know how to draw something. That's just how that works. You're good at what you know how to draw. I probably said that in another part of this video. I don't really know. I'm not great at making videos. A lot of people ask me how I draw on the tablet. Whoa, it's so crazy. It's crazy. How do you do it? This is how I do it right here. I don't even use that many tools. There's so many brushes on here too. It's a really good program. There's also Clip Studio on the iPad. I don't use any other programs on here. I like having the drawing on the iPad. It's very portable, very easy. The pen dies. I wouldn't say it dies really fast, but when it dies, sometimes it doesn't tell you when it dies, so then you're drawing something and you're just tapping like an idiot on the screen. Only complaint on that, but other than that, I really like drawing on the iPad. It's a personal preference. I'm not going to go and say, wow, it's so great, I love it. It's more like it's good for me. Everything is different for everyone else. Some people like drawing things differently, different programs. There's some people who like to draw on MS Paint. You know what I mean? It's all based on preference. There's no stress, and basically, I forgot what it was. There's no stress in trying to draw on a certain program because your favorite artist draws on it too. There's certain, as a career, there's certain programs they like to hear when you apply or whatever it's a part of. They love hearing Photoshop. They love hearing it because not only is it drawing software, it's usually made for editing photos too. People freaking love hearing it because it's a professional app, even though you gotta pay a certain amount a month to use it. Isn't that crazy? Also, fun fact: when you purchase software, you're not saying you own it. You're just saying you can use it, because all the software you own, whether it's on a computer or even a TV, you do not own it. You don't own the rights to it. You own the right to use it. So if you violate any of the services of it, they could just take it away from you. They don't care, or prevent you from using it if you change anything about it, unless it's an open source program. It's blah blah blah, just a lot of yada yada. I was just looking at the video. I was like looking at my thing. I was like, is it just sitting there? Is there something wrong with my program that I'm editing this video on? No, I was literally just staring at my character's stomach for like a good 5 minutes. I do that a lot. That's great. So it's good to just look over your work though, so it's no biggie in general, in my opinion. Okay. Also, some other things I want to say with drawing skin colors and skin in general. Don't be afraid to use darker colors. A lot of people go to yellows and whites and just unnatural colors. Don't be afraid to use darker colors. Everybody's a little bit brown, no one's exactly white, unless you're trying to make a point with a certain character, trying to be aesthetic. But there's a lot of variation with color. No one's just one color. There's a lot of different colors going on in the face. There's shadows. A drawing looks a lot better when you use darker colors, and I think the contrast is very important. Oh yeah, someone's gonna be walking in while I'm gonna be talking. That's okay. I forgot what I was talking about because I paused the thing. But I think I was saying that people aren't white, and I keep getting interrupted by animals and people opening doors. So I know I should go to a room away from everybody, but I already have the music on the TV. It's just perfect. As I was saying, back to what I was talking about, don't be afraid to use darker colors, but when shading, don't use black and don't use gray to shade. It just don't make sense. Just pull up reference pictures of the color you want to shade and how it can be dark in certain areas. You know what I mean? Like don't like you gotta use some references. It really shows you. Because when you draw based on what you think it looks like, it comes out a little wonky. Because we don't actually know how it would look. This is how we think. It's all based on our perception, right? But if you can't have a perception in reality that you haven't seen, even though you think you've seen it, but our memories aren't that reliable in general. They tend to be very wonky. There's actually like facts on memory not being that great. Unless you have that good old, really, really good memory where you got pictures in your brain. Well, I'm just really glad because the reference had like a similar outfit to who I was drawing, which is pretty great. I've been leaning to more of a more realistic art style, and it feels pretty great. I really like it. I stay away from the anime and like Steven Universe nonsense. I just don't like it. It's not for me, not my cup of tea. I mean, it looks really nice when other people draw, but I just don't like drawing. I feel it doesn't look good. I try to I like doing something that's kind of like a painting. I like that aesthetic of it looked like I painted it, A lot of people tell me that because I do digital art, it's not real art. I'm gonna tell you literally things people have told me. A program does it for you. It must be so easy, blah, blah, blah. Something's only easy when you know how to do it. That's how it works. Sports are easy for athletes. Understanding electronics is easy for technicians. Things are easy to those who have practiced and earned the skills with practice and dedication. It is not easy in any way or form just because it is on a different, I forgot what it's called, different thing. I forgot what the word is. It's basically, traditional art, paper. I literally forgot what it was. Whatever. Just because it's a little different doesn't make it any easier. If things are only easy to those who know how to do it. If you don't know how to do something, it's going to be incredibly hard. That goes for literally everything. And right here, I'm just pulling up references, blah, 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 in the picture, as you should for everything. Certain colors just don't look right when you just put them on there. A lot of colors are not as saturated as people draw them. It looks really aesthetic and pleasing to look at, but colors are not as saturated as people tend to draw them. A lot of colors are more desaturated, less bright, but it is nice to make it brighter. But when you're drawing these type of things, you need to know how it really looks, and then you can change it based on how you would like to draw. You should have an understanding of anatomy, understanding in colors, understanding in structure, and all that stuff. I'm still learning as an artist as well. I'm very young. There's plenty of artists that are better, more skilled than me, but I don't see it that way where I'm jealous of them. I just think one day I'll be as good as them. One day I'll be even better, maybe. You have to be very positive. When you're a negative Nancy towards your art, you're never going to improve. Where it's like, oh, I'm terrible, I'm trash, I'll never draw good. I try so hard, I've been drawing all these years and I still can't improve. But you have improved. If you gotta draw every single day. I know it's so hard to do. You gotta draw every single day. That's what I do. I draw every single day. Even if it's just a doodle, drawing something keeps your practice in place. You ever notice when you go to school and you go to summer break, you feel like you go back to school and you feel like you've lost everything you've learned? Because when you don't practice the things they teach in school, you're gonna lose it. You know what I mean? That's why school is whack. But that's what it is. You don't practice a certain skill or task, you forget how to do it unless it's like memory. Everybody knows the ABCs. We don't say the ABCs, but we kind of use the alphabet and whenever we say a word or something like that. I'm not a scientist. I don't really know all that jazz, but I don't know what another example is. Like when you're playing a fighting video game and you memorize all the combos and stuff like that. You're really good at the game, but if you haven't played the game in a couple months, you're going to be a little bit rusty. You're going to forget certain things unless you have a really good memory. Art it's in the good favor of those who have a really good memory. You memorize things with practice and all the time. Great power. I don't even feel like saying because I'm not reading off a script, so I'm really struggling with my words, and I stutter and talk like I'm foreign. But anyways, this is pretty unfiltered voice footage right here. Audio. I said footage. But particularly, I only use a couple brushes on here anyway. I think the first paint brush and paint or whatever, or something like that, and then I use the eraser. Typically what I do is that I do a sketch, and then I fix up the sketch as much as I can, and then I put the colors underneath it, and then eventually I put the sketch on top of the color, and then fix it up and paint over it. I don't particularly do line art. I don't really like doing line art. I feel like it never comes out as clean as I would like it to. I just like to paint. I love painting. I'm not really into I could if I wanted to do some line art stuff. I just prefer not to because it drives me insane. I feel like I can never get it the way I want to. And right here I say I want to give up with their heart. I feel like every artist has felt like that when they're drawing. Literally, there was one point where I was literally gonna stop drawing and just give up on this art piece, but I'm preaching about all this art stuff, but I'm gonna give up. That's pretty lame. I feel like when you give advice, you should follow by example. Be a hypocrite. Hypocrites are the big no-nos because no one's going to listen to what you have to say if you don't follow suit or you prove that it works. Another example. Also, with a big problem I see with clothing, even I do it sometimes, and I say it was stylistic choice, but it doesn't look right. When you add shine where it doesn't belong, it looks really weird, and it looks not that great. So when you should just keep, the darks, and just have one light. Don't add these highlights unless that's not how it really looks. That's very important. When you distinguish style from reality, that's very important. There's nothing wrong with creating shines and things as long as you know that's not how it really looks in real life. As long as you drew that and thinking it would just make it look prettier. It's very important. I also practice unrealistic portraits. Practice drawing real people, practice drawing yourself, just draw hands, do a lot of studies on certain things. Practice makes perfect. If you don't know how to draw something, just keep drawing it over and over until you're satisfied. That's how you improve. If you can't draw something and then give up and never draw it again, you're probably not going to get better at drawing that thing you gave up on drawing. Also very important, I don't really do backgrounds all that much, but I should. So you should draw backgrounds with most pictures in every finished picture. There's a difference between doing something, a cute little thing, doing a little doodle. Nothing wrong with that, but if it's a complete done drawing or painting or whatever, you should have a background, whether it's simplistic or not. You should try to incorporate that. It makes it more complete, it makes it more professional, it makes it more crisp, and it kind of brings the character you're drawing or whatever you're drawing to life. When it's just a white background, it looks plain. It looks kind of basic. It's different if it's commission. You don't have to do those certain things, but you should just do it for yourself to improve as a better artist. Oh, this particular brush that I'm using is from this really good artist on Instagram. I probably already mentioned them before. Their link in the description, blah, blah, blah. They have some really good brushes. I don't use all of them. I just keep keep them there. So if anyone wants to draw on my iPad or whatever, I just have them there. There's like, a eyelash stamp, eyebrow stamp. I just have that there for if anyone wants to draw on there. I don't really use them all that much. I don't feel the need to. I feel like those are good things for beginner artists who don't know how to draw something, feel more confident about the work, but in general, I don't use them. I think I said something while I was drawing. I was like, oh, you should add backgrounds. And then I was looking at my drawing while it was done. I'm like, I'm done, but there's no background. I preached about backgrounds, but there's none. And I added one towards the end of the video or whatever. It's like a very basic. I just kind of copied. I wouldn't say copied. I imitated the background from the reference picture. You're welcome. So that's what I did. I don't really know what else to talk about other than be true to light sources. Try to figure out where the light is coming from. If it's coming from above, obviously it's going to be lighter from the top. If it's coming from below, it should be darker at the top. It should be opposites. Light versus dark. If the light's coming from one side, the dark should be coming from the other side. That's just, I don't know how else to explain it. That's how I see things. Also references pictures of the light you kind of want. You can have a basic person or whatever, but if it shows the light source you want, it really helps out. And this is also one of the stamps from the artist I was talking about earlier. I really like it. But yeah, I can't stress enough about references. References they help you improve. Trust me, my art's improved crazy in 1 year. I can't even express how much it's changed because I've also been drawing probably more than once a day and stuff like that. I've been just, popping out drawings, getting ideas out, out there, blah, 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 posting, doing whatever I can. I don't really use I use the smudge tool a little bit in certain areas, but I don't use it to blend. I just kind of layer colors on top of each other like a painting would. I don't really blend anything. This is me doing the background now. Yeah, but I particularly I kind of just put colors on top of each other. I don't know how other way to explain it other than just using one brush, and that's it. I know as an artist you should explore more brushes and try to figure out what works for you, but I don't really use that many brushes. I feel like it's good to limit yourself to one thing sometimes to learn, but I just do it because that's what I'm comfortable with. Trust me, when I first had the iPad, I hated drawing on there. I felt like I couldn't do anything good. I felt like I was never going to improve. I felt like that what was wrong was the tablet, but no, it was my attitude towards the application and the device itself. You can draw on anything, and it can come out good if you really want it to. Certain applications, certain devices help you draw a lot better with, you know, different brushes and different layers and all these options. But if you really are a good artist and willing to improve, it's going to be good no matter what you draw. And don't stress on backgrounds too much. It's kind of just to help bring the piece together, but it doesn't have to be too complicated. Use a reference for that. Also, that's what I tend to do too. If you're drawing, you know, more greenery, look at greenery. You know, pop it in the picture also, so you can get those colors, and, you know, desaturate a little bit. You know, things that are farther away should be more, you know, I wouldn't say blurry but more faded. And closer should be, you know, more brighter, more easier to see, be some perspective. So I think this is the end of the video. I rambled for a lot of time, but that's pretty much it. You know, don't forget to like, subscribe, send to other people, all that good. And let me know if you want to see another video like this, and what else I should draw, what else I should do a tutorial on, what I should go into specifics about. I'm not going to make any promise about posting certain videos or things at a certain time, but I'm definitely going to try to get it more frequently, you know. But see ya, I guess.